Wigs and closures are not for everybody. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about how you can rock a sew and weave with leave out and still retain length and promote growth. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Michelle Ijama, and today we're going to be talking about how to grow your hair while rocking a sew and weave with leave out. I know people don't believe it's possible. A matter of fact, I'm sure most people don't even wear sew-ins because I feel like the wigs, the closures, frontals, they're taking over the world. But there are still a few of us who wear weaves with leave out because, I don't know, maybe wigs don't look good on people like me. When I find someone who can install a good wig on me, that's when I'll start wearing wigs. But for me personally, in order to help me protective style, I like to use braids or sew and weaves, as you can see here. So if you are trying to figure out how to grow your hair while rocking a sew and weave with leave out, keep watching. Okay, so I do have some notes because I don't want to forget anything, so bear with me. If I look down, please don't judge me. Okay, so my very first tip is to pick a hair texture that matches your actual hair texture. I feel like this is a very, very important tip because if you buy bundles that don't match your hair, you'll find yourself in a situation where you're constantly over manipulating your leave out to blend in with your hair bundles. And that's not what we want, especially if we're trying to retain length and protective style, right? So if you get hair that actually blends with your hair, you can do things like braid outs, which will last for a really long time. You can do things like wear it in its blowout state, or you can even rock it in its kinky curly state, which should technically blend with your own natural hair. The idea is to set yourself up so that you don't have to over manipulate your hair. So if you're getting bundles that don't match your hair, you're going to be over manipulating your hair, and we don't want that, especially because the goal is to retain length and continue to promote growth. My next tip is to prep and protect your hair before getting your weave installed. Now, I know that there may be some debates around how you should prep your hair before a weave install, but I think the general rule of thumb is to make sure that your hair is strengthened and super moisturized before anyone braids you down and installs this weave. I say that because it's going to be harder for you to moisturize your hair properly, and you want to make sure that you're giving your hair the best chance possible to survive while in a weave. My recommendation is to pre-poo your hair, then follow up with a clarifying shampoo so you can get your hair and scalp super clean. Then after that, you want to follow up with a protein treatment or a strengthening treatment so that your hair is super strong, but you also want to infuse that moisture back into it. So then you should follow up with a hydrating deep conditioner. And then after that, you want to moisturize and seal your hair, then blow dry. Don't forget to use a heat protectant. And then you want to follow up with some kind of an anti-breakage or split end type of serum. I like to use this one from Main Choice. I have a whole review on it, I think. The point is, you want to set your hair up to basically be protected and strong while it's in that weave. You don't have to do everything that I do, but I know that the way that I retain all my length when I wear a weave is by going through every single one of those steps, because I keep my sew-ins in for at least 2 months, and sometimes I go beyond that. It just depends on the state of the hair and whether I'm itching for a new style. So if you're going to be keeping your weave in for a long period of time, you want to make sure that you set the proper foundation by washing, conditioning, and infusing all that moisture and strength into your hair before getting your weave installed. Okay, so my next tip is to keep your hair clean and give yourself massages frequently. So this is like a 2-part tip, so let me go ahead and break it down. With the first part, with keeping your hair clean, if you are someone who does not shampoo your hair regularly while wearing sew and weaves, my recommendation is that you avoid putting things directly onto your scalp. That way you don't have a lot of buildup on your scalp and you're not having anything clog your pores or clog your follicles while you're rocking your weave. I do recommend you wash your hair at least once a month. I like to go maybe every 2 weeks, or I wash once a month. It just really depends on what I've been putting on my hair. The second part to that tip is giving yourself frequent scalp massages. As you guys know, I'm a big proponent for giving yourself scalp massages because it helps with stimulating blood flow circulation to your scalp. And so if you are constantly massaging your scalp, it's there helping stimulate that blood flow to your hair follicles, which in turn leads to growth. So putting those two together, if you're keeping a clean scalp and you are massaging your hair regularly, you're setting yourself up to promote as much growth possible during that period in which you have your weave. My next tip is to take care of your leave out. I feel like some of us, sometimes we put a weave in and then we forget that we have to take care of the hair that has been left out. That hair is super important because you don't want to be one of those people who has bomb long hair, but where your leave out was, it's all broken off and looking crazy. I've experienced it. It's easy to neglect your leave out when you have a weave that blends with your hair. So you need to make a conscious effort to make sure that you are moisturizing and sealing your leave out so that it does not break off, so that it also retains length and it grows at the same rate as the rest of your hair. Because the last thing you want is to have super long hair everywhere else and then cut off broken leave out. That is not cute, and we don't want that for ourselves. That being said, this is why it's super important to get a hair texture that matches your hair, because then if you're moisturizing and sealing your hair, it all just blends. Whereas if you're rocking a straighter hairstyle, you've got to think about, how do I keep my hair moisturized? How do I keep my hair straight while wearing this hair? Leave your weave in for at least 2 to 3 months. I know that sounds crazy. I know y'all might come for me. I know I might get some hate for that tip because some people feel like 3 months is a little bit too long. I'm so sorry, but I feel like if you actually want to see your growth, you've got to give it some time to just sit there and grow. Our hair grows about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch every single month. So if you actually want to see all of that growth and retain all of that length, you should leave it alone for an extended period of time. Think about it. If you leave it in for at least 2 to 3 months, then you'll see anywhere from 1/2 an inch to maybe 1.5 inches of growth. And that's if you're not using other things to help stimulate even more growth. For example, sometimes when you take hair vitamins, you might get 1/2 inch of growth, and because you're taking the hair vitamins, you end up getting 1 inch of growth. So if you're leaving it in for 2 to 3 months, you're gonna see all of that growth if you're able to retain all of that length. So give it some time to sit and grow. I don't know if that makes sense, but the point is, if you leave your hair alone for a long time, you can actually see the accumulation of your growth over time. My final tip is to take care of your hair during the takedown process, meaning do not take down your hair if you are having a bad day. Do not take down your hair if you are not going to exercise a level of patience that will allow you to remove each braid calmly and respectfully. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of the damage happens during the takedown process. I can do a video where I show you how I take down my weave. It's not going to come for a few months because I'm trying to rock this weave for at least another month or 2. I've had it in for about 1.5 months, and quite frankly, I can feel my tracks. My hair is growing under here, and I'm trying to hit waist length by the end of this year, or I should say by my birthday. So I'm debating when I want to take this weave out, but the point is I'm going to leave this weave in for as long as possible, and then during my takedown process, I'm going to be extremely gentle so that I retain all the new growth that I've accumulated while having this weave in. I hope that makes some sense. So yeah, those are my tips for how to grow your hair and retain your length while rocking a sew-in weave. If you have any particular questions or you don't agree with me, go ahead and let me know down below. I welcome all criticism. We just want it to be positive, respectful criticism. I don't want to create a community where people can't speak freely or where people are downing each other. So please be respectful in your comments. I want to know how you promote growth. What styles do you use to promote growth and retain length? We want to know. Your sisters want to know. The people a part of this family want to know. So go ahead and drop your comments down below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to continue to support this channel, please give it a thumbs up. I love you, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Deuces.